On the 3rd of October 1984, Christine Jessop was a 9-year-old Canadian girl from Queensville, Ontario, which is just north of Toronto. She loved life, her family, animals, school and sports. On this day, her school bus dropped her off home alone at 3:50 p.m. She then left and went to a local convenience store to purchase some bubblegum near her home. She had been due to meet up with a friend in a nearby park, but never showed up. During this time, her mother and older brother had gone to Toronto to visit her father, who was in prison for commercial fraud. When they returned home, sometime after 4 p.m, Christine wasn't there. They weren't immediately alarmed, but when evening arrived and she still wasn't home, the authorities were alerted and she was reported missing. The disappearance received nationwide attention. An extensive search was conducted by hundreds of police, firefighters, and members of the community that banded together in support. No trace of Christine was found. As time passed, concerns heightened that she may have been subjected to foul play. On the 31st of December 1984, a farmer and his 2 daughters were going out for a walk around their property along a tractor path when they made a horrifying discovery. They spotted Christine's badly decomposed body dumped in a field near a wooded area about 35 miles away in the rural Durham region. She was on her back, with her knees spread apart in an unnatural position, and was partially clothed. A sweater was pulled over her head, and panties and blue corduroy pants were near her feet. Her clothing was tattered, and bodily fluid was found on her underpants, suggesting that she'd been violated before being stabbed to the chest multiple times. The authorities were alerted, and evidence was collected from the crime scene. When the body was discovered, a single dark hair was found embedded in skin tissue, adhering to a necklace, which became known as the necklace hair. This hair was not Christine's, and it was presumed to have come from her attacker. This hair was said to be microscopically similar to Christine's neighbour, 24-year-old Guy Paul Marin's hair, and it was thought it could have originated from him. An analysis of hairs belonging to Christine Jessop's classmates revealed that the 2 classmates had hairs which were also similar. Clothing fibres found in Morin's car also linked him to Christine's body, making him a suspect. Morin worked as a factory furniture maker, and his hobbies included beekeeping and playing the clarinet. On the 22nd of April 1985, he was arrested on his way to band practice. He was always suspected of taking Christine's life. Authorities also decided he had enough time on the day of the attack, after leaving work, to be at the scene of the crime. Other observations noted, including him not involving himself in the search for Christine, and he claimed to have an intimate knowledge of the area where Christine's body was found. After evaluating Morin, psychiatrists deemed him to be mildly schizophrenic. His conviction, however, was overturned on the 23rd of January 1995 based on improvements with DNA technology, when it was revealed that the DNA found in Christine's underpants did not match his. He was paid $1.25 million by the Ontario City and received a public apology as compensation. The underwear was recently sent to a laboratory for forensic DNA analysis. The technique involves cross-referencing the DNA profile of an unidentified suspect with public databases containing DNA from users who've submitted samples to public genealogy websites. From there, family trees were developed and eventually narrowed the search. On the 15th of October 2020, police identified Jessop's attacker as Kelvin Hoover. He was 28 years old at the time of the offence. Hoover took his own life in 2015. Hoover and his wife had a neighbour-acquaintance relationship with the Jessop family. They also said that Hoover may have worked for Christine's father at one point. He was never considered a suspect. Toronto Interim Police Chief James Raymer said, "If he were alive today, the Toronto Police Service would arrest Kelvin Hoover for taking Christine Jessop's life. I can say that we're all genuinely relieved that the person responsible has finally been identified."